It is Thursday, April the 10th, 2025. I'm Dr. Grantham Taylor Hughes for my show, The Grantham Taylor Hughes Show, with my guest host, Lena Suzanne Z. How are you doing, Lena?
I'm good, thank you. Grantham, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
All right, so we got all the amenities out of the way. We can leave. See you later. Bye.
See you later.
Just kidding.
Mhm.
We just, in pre-talk, we just determined that I'm a major clown.
Mhm.
And that's okay because when you make people laugh, they're happier, right? And it's about happiness in life. I think people need to be happy always. So just start laughing, and then people will put you in a little in a funny room. Oh no, a rubber room, not a funny. Is it a funny room? No, it's a rubber room, right? A little rubber room.
At the padded
Just
room.
always laughing. You need to lock that person up. Or as I always said about my epitaph, he talked too much, he laughed too much. And then in parentheses underneath, oh, what a terrible person he was. He was awful. He laughed and talked too much. Is that ridiculous? So I just say you got to laugh more in your life. Tell jokes, get people going, talk to them. If they don't want to talk, just go up and tickle them, and then they'll get you with illegal touch. And why are you in my courtroom? Well, I illegally tickled somebody. Oh, not that. I can't help myself. I'm a comedian out at work. I tell jokes and no one laughs, but I do find certain groups that will laugh, and then they keep me going, and bigger crowds come in, thousands of people, and I'm giving this long monologue and making people laugh so they just fall asleep. And eventually I fall asleep too. You know, Socrates in ancient times, he used to give lectures all through the night, and everybody's falling asleep, and eventually Socrates would fall asleep too. He'd go, well, I think that now that I'm going to see what I'm going to see by the tree, and he passes out. So Socrates would talk till he passed out. It's a good thing to do as long as people are laughing. If they're not laughing, then you got to be a fast runner. They're coming after me. You're not funny at all. We got to condemn the comedian. String that guy up. Oh, sorry. What did you do wrong? You're on the gallows. Well, I made too many people laugh and they hanged me. Oh, it's really terrible. You know, Socrates, the joke about Socrates, he was supposed to be the first man to be killed in recent history, killed for his opinion, right? His viewpoint. Yes, we're going to kill you for your opinion. It's an awful opinion, so we're going to give you the hemlock. Drink this poison. All right, drink the poison. What did I do wrong? Well, you didn't like my opinion.
Mhm.
But of course, he was condemning the leaders at the time. He would listen to them. They'd run out of gas, right? They'd gas out, and when they were out of their explanation, he'd come in and bring in his explanation, which was much better. It was superior. He was a student of Plato, or was it the other way? Yeah, Socrates. No, Plato was a student of Socrates. I think that's no. I think no. Socrates is a student of Plato. Anyway, I forgot. You have to look it up in the Republic. You can pick on me. He's not getting history right. Well, I don't care either.
That would be an interesting thing to talk about because you touched on history earlier when we were having a chat, and about getting history right, and is
Oh,
it
okay, we
is
can
it
get into that
helpful?
because
Yeah.
yeah, history is in the eyes of the reporter. Whoever's recording history becomes history if people believe in it. Now it becomes a suggestion that's written. That's called a heterosuggestion. And then when you auto-suggest it, you internalize it as a truth for yourself. So history is a real dangerous thing in terms of recording because it's just somebody's viewpoint of what's happening. Okay, but we're left with that because in writings, it's a legacy. We write things down because people are evanescent in terms of their lives. They don't live forever, so to speak. And especially in the West, the Greco-Roman writings were saying that very few people live past 115 years old. And right now, that would probably be considered the oldest person in the West. I don't know who's on record as the oldest person right now, but very few people live past that age. But in the Far East, they live hundreds of years, and people don't believe that in the West. But go live in the East, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll run into some Lama teacher like I did. I ran into my Tibetan Lamas who are really old and but they look really young too. Just like the lady said, I was looking younger since the wrist flex shows. Well, I'm on this rejuvenation cycle because I am raw vegan. I believe in mega hydration. Now we're working on the body brine to even make us even younger. He'll look like he's 2 years old pretty soon. Now he's a babe in arms. What happened? Well, now he speaks like this. Happy boo 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 go back, happy boo back, happy boo baby boo back. Now he's a baby. Look, he got too young. You got too young, Grantham. You reverse the whole cycle. They have movies on that too, where the age even get older, then they get younger, and then we messed up. He went back to the womb theory. Anyway, see, brine makes you silly too, by the way. Silly soup, silly soup. Brine, your body's a body brine factory. You're making brine as you speak, and what we're talking about in brine, we're trying to program it instead of diffusing it outside of your body. And other people are using your brine because it diffuses out of your body. It's your distillation factory that distills the brine and it goes out into the atmosphere. It's distilled liquid in the humidity, and we take in the humidity when we breathe, and then we're a body brine factory, distillation center. We distill the brine, and then it fuses out of our body. It evaporates out of our body, out of our pores. So now, if you can control that, then you can put that into your empire when you're building that with the Bindu as well, in terms of the yantra. This is good stuff, folks.
How
I
do you,
think so.
how
Yeah,
do
go ahead.
how do you do that? How do you put that into the Bindu or the Sri
Well,
Rantra?
remember I have triple NB, right? We have the nano nap in brine, which should be on a menu somewhere. Yes, I'll have the nano nap in brine, please. Immediately. I'll have two of those. And they'll have an entree too. This friend of mine here wants a triple NB. I'll take a triple NB. Yeah, so it's programming it. You program it. You lay down, close your eyes, drink in the brine, and send it to your creation. See, and that's it. It'll diffuse out. It's a reality too. It's not just an imagination. Because when you have the saliva, it's very real in your mouth, right? And so that's a thing that when you drink it, it diffuses out of your body into your creation. You see what I mean? It's really simple. It's not really difficult to do. So when we're creating all these empires, and we'll give vent to the voice of positivity with everybody when we're doing all these videos that are very positive, and we're speaking of some very positive things, then other people will think positively too and speak positively when we're having conversations with them. See, that's very important because when you have a lot of wealth and you have plenty of money, you're usually very happy or happier. In other words, some people say money's not everything, but then the upshot term of that, the synthesis to it is, but it helps.
Yeah, but Brandon, we can think of lots of examples of rich and famous people who are not happy despite their wealth.
Well, I think it's because they don't have good friends. I was going to create Celebrity Incorporated and go to Hollywood again because I was out there a long time ago. We had writing screenplays for Columbia, but at the same time, they don't have a lot of good friends. See, they're like a lot of fake friends, and they go to these parties and drug parties and really a lot of nonsense. But to have true friends, true friendship's very important. It can help maintain your life and happiness when people really care about each other, see? But that's hard to find that. It's usually patronization. You know, if you're famous, usually people patronize you, don't really care. If you don't care for your own self, how are you going to care for somebody else? So it starts at home, as they say, within your own self. You got to love yourself and care about what you're doing. And that's hard to do, to trust your own instincts and your own self. Start there firstly, and then you can flow that out to other people, or just flow it out because I'm saying flow it out. Yeah, it sounds like throw it out. Yeah, throw it out there or flow
How,
it out.
so how do people do that, loving themselves first?
I think we already do in the inside. We know that we do because it's the nature of what you are, I think is a factor of that. I think it's just a natural thing. But because there's we talk a lot, there's a lot of negativity exoterically, so it can really push you down. It can put you in terms of communication, just all sorts of things that can be come your way. It's like a divinity thing because I believe we're eternal, but I don't really get into that too much because people are more interested in getting rich, right? So I'm trying to help people create their exoteric empire. Why not? Build a castle, have several mansions, have whatever you want to have because you're entitled to it and you can create that. There's no reason why you can't do that. But then the conscious discipline of it in reference to people, as I said, people that listen to this call that are very successful will look in their own life about how they focus their own eyes. When they're looking at something, they're centering their eyes to bring things to them. So the yantra is just an instrument to augment that focus. See, so it's an augmentation of it. But then people don't have to be concerned about other people creating an empire because that's a competitive idea and Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, he's talking about no competition. He's talking about being more creative and being a creator and not a competitor. See, so you get rid of that competition, know there's plenty of space and plenty for everybody, then you can have a lot more fun with that and not be rich people can't be, don't have to be concerned with poor people becoming rich. Maybe they're not as sophisticated because they don't come from the etiquette schools. Like I'm from upper class. I was trained in proper etiquette as a child and the way to do things and protocols and all those things. So I'm very stilted when it comes to protocols. But then what happened in my life? I realized when I turned 50, I gained ESP, extremely silly person. See, because you got to look at things lightly. You got to take yourself lightly and don't take yourself so seriously because what's that about? Nothing. It doesn't help at all. So in creation of this empire, we can have a lot of fun with that when you allow other people to do that too as well. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do that and to applaud people, to praise people. Praise is good for people.
Ransom, I want to go back to the idea of gaining riches and have finding good friends. But some people, when they gain a lot of riches, they find that they don't attract the right kind of friends because of their wealth. Do you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah, I think it has to do with getting down to cases and communicating properly and not just bonding over everything and just paying attention. Have good conversations with people, get to know people, spend time with them. But the issue is that there's not much time in the international labor camp. People are spending at least 8 hours a day working every day. They don't have time to have conversations. So when you have really true conversations with people, you get to know them. That's how you create good friends and meaningful conversations with people and respecting other people's opinions and spending a lot of time in conversation where all parties are participating because people want to participate, but they want to participate in a safe place. Remember, I was talking about Pastor Newhouse, who was a good friend of William F. Buckley in the past. He wrote a book called The Naked Public Square, and he was wanting people to come to the public square to express their political opinions, but people won't do it because they tremble in the face of that. Public speaking is the biggest fear that man has, you see. So that's a problem in terms of fear of communicating. But if you come to a safe place to talk with things, if you have a forum where it's safe and you feel comfortable, then you're going to have meaningful conversation. Then you'll be willing to talk about things that you can get very fine connections with people that way. See, that's the beauty of all this about good friendship. Friendship means that you listen to each other, you spend time with each other, and you have a good time and just get away from the negativity. But see, the problem is people want fast results, so they're in a rush, emotional rush to do things, and that emotional rush can cause a lot of problems with people, see? And they just need to calm down, mainly. Do introspective techniques, prayer, meditations, whatever people do, do a little bit of introspection and gain some inner stamina to be able to work with in a world of wonder, as we're saying, the world of wonder, right? The Grantham Taylor Hughes World of Wonder show.
mm,
So it's not hard to do. It's not hard to make friends if you're patient. And I always like the idea of the five virtues, which are contentment, compassion, patience, aesthetics, and nobility. All those make no person a noble character because I think we all are noble human beings being sentient, but we've got to get out of the way for people to experience that. We've got to stimulate others to find themselves, and that's how you become good friends. You allow people their space. That's it. That's the answer of good friends. You allow people their freedom and you allow them to be who they are and care for them just the way they are. Or
Mm.
the word love, right? Got to be careful with that term.
Is
Anyway,
there not an element of discernment though when it comes to friends? You know, we can't be friends with everyone, and there might be situations where certain people aren't the right fit for us.
well,
Friendship.
it's a timing factor. We only have 24 hours in a day. You can't have 10,000 friends and nurture them properly. I think there's some kind of crooked number called you can only have 17 friends. I don't know why it was 17 that you can properly nurture in your life and to, a reciprocal relationship where you just can't befriend everybody. You just can't do it. To have close friends, it might be rare for people to have close friends.
Mm,
You see? So, because there's a time factor. The limitations of the exoteric worlds is a time element. And also, we need to rest too. We can't be constantly outflowing on 24/7. We can't do it. So we need our rest. People need to sleep and they need to rest the physical body because that's just the nature of kind of running out of gas. You got to recharge the physical body. And so I know the electric car people appreciate it. We need to recharge the car.
mhm.
They're ridiculous anyway. They're not doing well. But my relastatics will replace all that eventually. And we're on that to do that in terms of the toy, the Omnivergence Institute. Oh, by the word, there's a new word. It's called revergence, reverse, reverse divergence. When we were talking about that the other day, so
Mhm.
there's a new word, folks, revergence. I got tired of saying redivergence, so I changed it to revergence, which is reverse divergence for
Mhm.
all those people. This is too complex. It's not in the dictionary too, because I made up the word. Nah, 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 nah. Just like oilicity. You can't find oilicity. That's my word. It's Grantham's words. Grantham's logic patterns. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you mean by oilicity?
Oilicity means that it's really oil electricity, oil slash electricity, the oxymoron oil electricity. Because if you go to a power station on a street corner, and if you looked at the blueprints of the power station, they have oil burners. So oil creates the electricity because you got to fill up those oil burners with oil to run the oil burner. It has a compressor connected to it, and it creates electricity. So I coined the word, it's really oilicity because OPEC is behind the electricity. We don't have pure electricity. It's made with oil. So when electric cars are out there, they're using oilicity. They're still using oil. Plus, the tires are made from oil, plastic's made from oil. The interiors of those cars are made from oil. So it's not a paradigmic shift. People need to know that. I think people know that. It's just they make things because it's like Mount Everest. Why do they climb Mount Everest? Because it's there. It exists. So if we can get funding to build something, they'll build it.
Mm.
But they're having a lot of trouble with those cars because they're ridiculous. I got to get my relostatics in place, and that'll be a cure-all for the whole thing. That'll take care of it very soon. Probably within 10 years, we can get the first vehicle on the road, relostatic vehicle. Maybe, yeah, 10 years we can do that. That's why people, you got to get my videos to go viral here because we're needing money to support Toy, and I appreciate you subscribing. So the subscriptions help YouTube to pay us, and I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And I won't beg you to subscribe because you know me, I never beg, right? Oh, please, oh, please. Oh, sorry. I can't help myself. That's funny though.
Tell us more about your light speed vehicle. What do you envisage that it will look like? Will it look like a regular car? Will it move like a regular car?
It shouldn't be a regular car, but there'll be no tires, no wheels on the ground. like the scooter in Star Trek.
So it
That should
becomes
blow everybody's mind, right?
kind of floating,
Well, what's that?
like
Kind of floating?
like floating, yeah.
Yeah, sort of, but it's just the same distance off the ground, like the speeder in Star Wars. What was the name of the character in Star Wars? You had Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker. Luke
Hmm.
Skywalker speeder, a flux capacitor in the Back to the Future. It's run by a flux capacitor.
So
It's real simple. Yeah, go ahead.
what does flux capacitor mean?
What a flux capacitor?
Yeah. What does it mean?
What does it mean? Well, it's a
Technology wise.
capacitor. Yeah, it's a relationship. It's a relostatic diode, a capacitor that has a relationship with the pilot, and that relationship, just like we have right now, when people drive cars, they have a relationship with the motor, but they have to push a button and start the car, right? So when you push that button, the body electric, your body itself, is a kinetic power motion, which is a relationship with the motor. But if you take all that paraphernalia in between and your presence alone, and just like we're programming brine, you can program the uh, the capacitor. See, that's what's going on. We're going to build prototype, but I have to have a lot of money to build prototype, and I'm in the process of getting funding to do that because nobody else is doing that. So I'm the relastatic guru, so to speak.
And I think you've described the flux capacitor as a silicon bullet type thing.
Oh, so yeah, so it's made out of flexible glass because that's what Silicon Valley was trying to do. And the toy will start the Neo Silicon Valley. We got to start it back up because the other one fell prey to OPEC and the oil and plastic and all that. You see what I mean? So this won't do that this time. It'll be a really advanced technology that we need to do. I'll straighten my shoulders out because I'm like this. He's slanted a little bit. He's diagonal.
So are
So if
you
I
not,
straighten, he has broad shoulders. Look at those broad shoulders. We'll put a lot of shoulders up on his shoulders.
so Grantham, are you kind of saying that the person who's the pilot, they'll be somehow energetically powering the vehicle?
Well, yeah, because we've already talked about in the East, my Tibetan Lama said the human's a minimum of 10,000 sons of power, so we might as well utilize that power with the capacitor and move a vehicle around by programming it. Like I said, you can program water, you can program brine, you can program anything if you're conscious of it to do your bidding, see, and that's fine. That's what'll be happening pretty soon. It's old technology. Tesla had it in 1906, but didn't couldn't develop it because J.P. Morgan pulled the plug on his funding. But he was in process of doing this back in the day. But it's been long gone now. It's been a long time.
Why
Um,
why
yes, go ahead.
why did his funding get pulled?
Well, the problem was Tesla claimed it could be wireless technology over the entire world. The Wardenclyffe Tower and oh, in New York at Wardenclyffe. The tower was a 112-foot wooden tower, but it had a metal obelisk on the top with little pinholes in it. It was empty. So it was actually it was a capacitor, it was a flux capacitor, but it was very tall. And he explained to J.P. Morgan, who was his funding agent at that time, that it would be wireless technology over the entire Earth. But JP got nervous about that because how are you going to charge people for that service, right? The money. So where's the money come in there to get profit? So he pulled the funding on that and created the wire technology because the wires are hooked up to a meter on the side of the home or whatever. There's a meter. It's hooked up to and then you can measure how much you're using electricity. Because back in 1906, and banking didn't have installment plans because you could have set something up with the electric company to pay a monthly rate, but they didn't have that concept back in those days. So Morgan pulled Tesla's funding because he needed a wired technology. That's why we have wires today. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absurd. So we need to get back to what Tesla was doing back in the day. It's not hard to do. It's really, I wish people would do it so I wouldn't have to. I hope people, if you hear this, any of you scientists or advanced people out there in technology, do it so I don't have to, because I'm very lazy. I want to sit on the beach drinking Mai Tais.
There's no fuel, so there's no
Oh
payment.
no, there's no fuel. All of the fuel is static electricity. The air is the fuel, which is convert. That's why it's called relastatics. The relationship with static electricity to change static electricity to kinetic power. See, that's what it's about. That's called relastatics, and people just don't understand it. But it's an age-old concept. But like I said before, if anybody hears this, and you technological advanced people, run with it and good for you. That way I don't have to do all this work because I'm lazy. I'd rather go out and play tennis or some golf. I like to get golf and play a little polo too. I don't play polo anymore. I don't, I'm not much on my horses. My horses scare me anyway. They have a pea brain, but they can really make you nervous. They're too big, they can kick you and kill you, right? Anyway,
So
having
Grant,
said all that.
are your ideas or this relostatic technology is this written down somewhere? So is there a place people could find it? And
It's in my manuscripts in Golden Age of Outer Space, but that's where it's written down in my manuscripts, but nowhere else. I have the math formulas in the first book, but I haven't really published those books.
uh
Yeah, I have it written down, but that's like a private archive.
okay, but it's not publicly
No,
available.
it's not really. I
People,
even the works that Tesla was doing doesn't really go into it much. I think he wrote some kind of autobiography back in the day, but didn't really go into the details with that.
Mhm.
Did I do my pitch for money pitch yet? Or was that the one in the previous one? I didn't do it right. Well, I sort of did it just now. That was the pitch for today, right? That
Yeah.
we are doing this for money and for 30 minutes of just talking all over the place. And we do want some money, folks. I was going to make a website years ago. I've talked about this. We just want your money, give it to us.com.
Mhm.
And so what are you giving us? I'm giving you comedy. I'm making you laugh. So
Mhm.
we are paying you for your jokes, right? We're paying you as a comedian. Yes, you are. Sort of like on this one too, I guess. I guess you're paying me as a comedian, right?
We're not asking for money though, or donations. We're
Yeah, just subscriptions, right?
just subscribers. Yeah.
Just subscribe, right?
Yeah.
That's all you have. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, does it?
No, no.
Oh, it's free subscriptions. So,
Yeah.
folks, it's free to subscribe. So please subscribe. Get everybody. Go door to door. Subscribe. Go door to door. Go door to door to people. Subscribe. And Grantham Taylor uses his YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
Mhm.
Go. We want this to go viral, folks, so I can get toy in place, so we can get some really true advanced technology. If you want advanced technology, please subscribe. You mean just me, my little old me, subscribe? Well, it takes one vote to win the election.
Maybe briefly before we finish, Grantham, tell people the benefits of this, like how it's gonna make everything better, like life better.
You mean
It's
advanced
to
technology?
have this technology, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it'll make anything better, but it's better technology.
Okay.
Well, because we're not going to be using fuel, we're not going to dig into Gaia. You
Mm.
see, the Earth, and then we can get rid of the streets by advanced laser technology, just eliminate all that. You see what I mean? Eliminate all the wires and everything, just laser into space, like laser them out, zoom, they're gone. We have that at Toy. We have advanced laser technology. So when we institute all this, it'll change the world significantly for the better. I mean, it'll be more beautiful, it'll be more floral. You'll have the pathways, but they may be green, but you still have the pathways to find your place, to find the locations and what have you.
So you're saying that you can use lasers to get rid of all the tarmac and
Oh, everything. It just real fast. Zoom. We get rid of it probably, get rid of everything in about 10 years. All the nonsense, wires, all that. You see what I mean? Because it's not necessary. It's primitive technology. We got to advance it, folks. We got to get into advanced technology. I have it. We can do it. We'll be young, wealthy, and have this tremendous empire and a lovely world of flora and fauna. Just really wonderful place. Well, is it like the Garden of Eden? Yeah, sort of, I suppose. Going back to the garden,
Hmm.
which is not hard to do. But we just have to do it. See, and that's the interesting. It's not necessarily an ideal. Like I said before, there's still a negativity in there because you have to have polarity. You have to have darks and lights to create the imagery. To create the image around us, we need the dark and light around us. So that's why it can't be perfect, but it can be pretty darn close. And that's for sure. Like Walter Cronkite said, and that's the way it is.
Well, thank you very much, Grantham, for today. I think we'll finish there. Thank you to the viewers. Please share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
And bye for now.